Before you do anything, before you decide whether you believe me, I want to take one thing off the table. You are not about to suffer. Everything you've been told about quitting, that it takes iron willpower, that you'll white-knuckle it for months, that you'll spend the rest of your life quietly missing something, is wrong. Not stay positive, wrong. Factually wrong. And in the next 40 minutes, I'm going to prove it to you using nothing but your own body. Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to show you a blackened lung. I'm not going to tell you how much money you'll save. I'm not going to ask you to be brave. People have been trying to scare you and shame you into quitting for years. And you're still holding the vape. So let's stop doing the thing that doesn't work. Instead, I'm going to tell you the truth about what that vape is actually doing for you, which is nothing. It is doing nothing for you. And by the end of this, you're going to see that so clearly that putting it down won't feel like losing something. It'll feel like getting out. There are 336 hours between you and a brain that no longer asks for nicotine. 14 days. That's it. Not forever. Not one day at a time, stretching out into some gray, endless distance. A fixed number, with an end you can see from right here. And I know almost exactly what happens inside you during each one of those hours because your body follows a schedule. A real one. Chemical, predictable, already written. I'm going to read it to you, so don't put it down yet. Keep it in your hand if you want. You don't have to decide anything right now. Just listen. Let's start with the question nobody actually asks you. Not, why should you quit? You know why. Everybody knows why. You've known for years. The reason you haven't isn't that you're missing information. The real question is the one underneath. What do you actually get from it? Be honest. Not the advertisement playing in your head. The real thing. You take a hit, and for about 30 seconds, something settles. A small relief. A little click of, okay. The edge comes off. That exact feeling is the thing you'd miss. That's the thing that keeps the vape in your pocket, on your desk, by your bed. So let's look at what that relief actually is. Slowly. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. A couple of hours ago, the nicotine from your last hit started leaving your blood. Nicotine has a half-life of about 2 hours, which means within roughly 2 hours, half of it is already gone, broken down by your liver and on its way out. And as it left, it took your calm with it. It left behind a small, hollow restlessness, a pull you couldn't quite name, a low itch under your attention. Then you took another hit. The nicotine flooded back in. The restlessness lifted, and you called that pleasure. But look at what really happened there. You didn't rise above normal. You climbed back up to normal, to exactly where a person who has never touched nicotine sits all day long. For free, without thinking about it, without a device, without a pocket check, without a single craving. The vape didn't give you calm. It took your calm an hour ago and just sold it back to you. That's the whole transaction. That's the entire thing. Every hit, your whole life as a vapor, has been you buying back, at a price, a feeling that every non-smoker on Earth has for nothing. Alan Carr, the man who helped tens of millions of people quit, put it better than anyone. He said smoking is like deliberately wearing shoes that are a size too small all day long, just for the relief of taking them off at night. And the relief is real. Taking off tight shoes feels amazing. But here's the thing you already know. The non-smoker isn't sitting there missing that relief. They never put the shoes on. They've been comfortable the entire time. You are not a person enjoying a pleasure. You're a person solving a problem that only exists because of the last hit, and that will disappear completely the moment you stop creating it. That's the trap. It's elegant, and it's cruel, and almost nobody sees it from the inside. The vape relieves a discomfort that the vape itself created. It is the arsonist selling you the fire extinguisher. It poured the empty feeling into you, and then it stood there and charged you to make the empty feeling go away. And every time you paid, you taught your brain one lesson. Deeper and deeper. We cannot feel okay without this. That lesson is a lie. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly, chemically in your own head, how the lie got installed and how it comes out. Here's what's happening underneath, in the part of your brain you never get to see. Deep in the middle of your head, there's a small circuit that runs on a chemical called dopamine. People throw that word around like it just means pleasure, but that's not quite it. Dopamine is the wanting chemical. It's the thing that says, that mattered, go get it again. It's how your brain learned to chase food, water, warmth, connection, everything that kept your ancestors alive. It's supposed to point you at things that are good for you. Nicotine walks straight into that circuit and pulls the lever by hand. When you take a hit, your dopamine doesn't go up a little. It spikes by something like 150%, more than food. More, in that moment, than almost anything you do in an ordinary day. And your brain, which is very good at its job, takes one look at that enormous signal and concludes, whatever that was, it's important. That's survival level important. Do it again. But your brain has another job too, keeping you in balance. And it notices these giant unnatural dopamine spikes happening over and over every day, far bigger than anything in nature. So it does the sensible thing. It turns down the volume. It physically removes some of its own dopamine receptors. It builds fewer of them. It's trying to protect itself from being constantly flooded. And right there, that's the moment the trap closes. Because now you have fewer receptors. Now your baseline, your normal, the place you sit when there's no nicotine in you, has dropped below where it used to be, below where a non-smoker sits. The ordinary pleasures that used to be enough, a good meal, a quiet morning, a laugh, they don't quite land anymore. The world goes a little flat and gray. The only thing that gets you back up to feeling normal is the very thing that knocked you down. Another hit. That's not a metaphor. That's the machinery. The nicotine lowered your floor and then became the only ladder back up to it. You didn't develop a love of vaping. You developed a deficiency. And the vape is the only thing that fills a hole the vape dug. Now, here's the part nobody tells you. The part that should change everything. That whole system is built to recover. Those receptors your brain pruned away. It grows them back. The volume your brain turned down. It turns back up. The flat gray baseline lifts back to where it belongs. This isn't hope. It isn't positive thinking. It's just biology doing the thing it always does when you stop pouring the chemical in. It heals back toward normal. Every brain does it, yours will too. It has no choice. The only question is how long it takes and how it feels while it happens. And that's exactly what I came here to tell you. Because that recovery has a timeline. A real one. We can measure it. Hour by hour, your body undoes the trap on a schedule. And when you actually know the schedule, the whole thing stops being scary. A craving stops being a threat and becomes what it actually is. A progress report. The sound of the machinery rebuilding itself. Let me read you the schedule. First, one thing has to happen, or none of the rest works. And it's smaller than you think. You have to actually stop. Not cut down. Not taper. Not just the ones I really enjoy. Stop. All the way. Cold. I know how that sounds. Cutting down feels gentler, safer, more reasonable. But think about what we just learned. Every single hit re-spikes the dopamine, reconfirms the lesson, redigs the hole. When you cut down, you don't weaken the addiction. You do the opposite. You make each remaining hit more precious, more anticipated, more important. You spend all day waiting for it, negotiating with yourself, rationing. You turn a thing you do without thinking into the most prized event of your day. Cutting down doesn't loosen the trap, it polishes it. Cold turkey isn't the hard way. It's the clean way. It's the only path where the line goes down and stays down, where your receptors actually get the uninterrupted quiet they need to grow back. One clean break and the recovery clock starts and never resets. And here's the part that makes it possible. The thing Carr understood that the willpower crowd never did. This is not a sacrifice. So you don't need willpower to do it. Willpower is what you need when part of you wants a thing and part of you won't let you have it. It's a war between two sides of yourself, and it's exhausting. And most people lose it eventually because you cannot fight yourself forever. The willpower quitter spends the rest of their life muttering, "I'd love one, but I can't." Still wanting, still deprived, still in the trap, just not reaching into it. That's misery. That's most quitting you've ever seen. No wonder it scared you. We're not doing that. You don't need willpower to refuse something you genuinely don't want. You don't sit at dinner gritting your teeth not to eat the napkin. You're not deprived of the napkin, you just have no desire for it. That's the state we're aiming for. Not resisting the vape, but seeing it so clearly that the wanting itself dissolves. And the wanting dissolves the moment you truly understand it never gave you anything in the first place. So this isn't giving up vaping. You're not giving up a single real thing. You already saw that back at the tight shoes. There's nothing in your hand to grieve. You are not losing a friend. You are removing a small machine that has been lowering your baseline, taking your money, shortening your breath, and following you into every room you've ever walked into. You're not closing a door. You're walking out of one. So here's what we're going to do. Not someday. Not tomorrow morning. Now, while we're together, while the whole map is fresh in your head, because you will never have a cleaner moment to do this than the one you're in right now. If it's near you, pick it up. One last time. I want you to take one final hit, and I want you to do it completely consciously, not grabbing at it. Not in a panic, like something's being taken from you. Slow, calm. And as you do, I want you to notice, honestly, what it actually gives you. Which is nothing. No gift, no friend, no relief you couldn't have for free. Just the last loop of a trap you are about to step straight out of. Now set it down. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. Put it down and leave it down. And if you don't have it on you right this second, even better. Then you've already taken your last hit, and you didn't even know it was the last. Either way, it's behind you now. Because the clock doesn't start when you throw the device away. It starts the moment you decide. And you just decided. This is hour one. The hardest thing you were afraid of, the very first step, is already done. Already behind you. From this second forward, every single hour makes you freer than the one before it. So let me walk you through them. Because I promise you, what comes next is so much kinder than you've ever been led to believe. Hour one. It's already started. You don't feel different yet, and that's fine. The work is chemical and silent. The nicotine in your blood is already dropping. Within about 2 hours, half of it will be gone. Right now, you're in a window of calm before the body notices. Use it. Drink a full glass of cold water. The first hours are the easiest of the whole sprint, and I want you to feel that, so you carry it forward. The start was not the monster I expected. Hours 4 to 8. Now the nicotine is genuinely leaving, and your body starts to notice the absence. The cravings begin. But I need you to hear exactly what a craving is, because this one fact will carry you through the entire 2 weeks. A craving is not a command. It's not a sign you're failing. It is a short, physical wave. Most last 3 to 5 minutes, and then they break, every time. Whether you do anything about it or not. It cannot make you do anything. It can only ask. And it always passes. While that's happening, something quiet and good is already underway. Carbon monoxide, the gas from the vapor, and the smoke that's been riding in your blood, where oxygen should be, is clearing out. It binds to your blood cells about 200 times more tightly than oxygen does, which is why it crowds the oxygen out. By around hour 8, half of it is gone. Your blood is carrying more oxygen to your heart, your muscles, your brain than it has in a long time. You are, very literally, breathing easier. You just can't feel it yet. Hour 12. The carbon monoxide is essentially gone, back to the level of someone who has never touched any of this. Your blood is clean of it. 12 hours. You're further than you think. Hour 24. 1 full day. This one I have to be straight with you about because honesty is the whole deal between us. Around the 24-hour mark is often the sharpest point of the early going. The nicotine is mostly gone, your brain's receptors are sitting empty and calling for it. And that can come out as anxiety, as a short fuse, as a restlessness that doesn't have words. If today you feel irritable for no reason, you can point to, that's not your personality, and it's not a relapse coming. That is a specific temporary passing chemical event with a clock on it. Name it for what it is. Then let it move through you. Because on the other side of this same day, your blood vessels are already working better, and the long, slow decline in your heart attack risk has already begun. The worst feeling hour and the healing are the same hour. They always are. Hours 36 to 72. This is the steepest part of the climb. If there's a hard stretch in the whole 2 weeks, it lives in here, the back half of day 2 into day 3. The cravings can come closer together. The mood can dip. This is the part the willpower quitters brace against and lose to. But you're not them because you know something they don't. You know what these hours are. This isn't your body breaking down. It's your body in the deepest part of the repair, working hardest right where it's most worth it. Around now, your sense of smell and taste start to switch back on. A lot of people get their first surprise here. A real smell, a real flavor, sharper than it's been in years. That's not a small thing. That's your nervous system coming back online. And if a craving in here feels strong, good. Strong craving means strong withdrawal means the chemical is genuinely leaving. You are not slipping. You are winning. And the strength of the pull is the scoreboard. Hour 72, 3 days. Stop for this one. At 72 hours, your body is, for all practical purposes, completely free of nicotine. Gone. The chemical that has run your days, that you reorganized your life around, that you stepped outside for, that you checked your pocket for 100 times a day, is out of you. Whatever you feel from here forward is not the drug anymore. It's just your brain rewiring, growing back what it pruned. The hardest chemical part is behind you. If you're hearing this and you're at hour 72, you have already done the thing that scared you most. It's done. Days 4 to 7. Now the work moves upstairs into the wiring. Your brain is actively pruning away the surplus receptors it built for a drug that isn't coming anymore and rebuilding toward its natural balance. There can be a strange stretch in here, somewhere around day 4, where you feel a little flat, a little foggy, even though the physical stuff is easing. That's the dopamine system at its lowest point, right before it climbs. Your body is ahead of your brain, and your brain is catching up. The move here is simple, and it's real. Get outside and walk for 20 minutes. Not as a nice idea, as a tool. A walk measurably raises the very chemicals nicotine used to fake. The calm you feel after isn't a placebo. It's your own brain making the thing it forgot it could make. 1 week. Hour 168. A real threshold. By now your brain has rebuilt a large share of what it pruned. Your natural dopamine is running at most of its full strength again, and your sleep is starting to come back to normal. And this isn't just a nice number. 1 week is the point past which the odds tip hard in your favor. The people who reach here are far, far more likely to never go back. The cravings that remain are mostly down to a few a day now, and they've changed character. They're not chemical emergencies anymore. They're just memories. A reflex attached to a moment, a place, a coffee, a feeling. We'll deal with exactly those in a minute, because they're the last thing standing between you and free. Days 8 to 10, the repair you can almost feel now. Inflammation through your body is dropping. The tiny hairs in your lungs that clear them out are working again. Your breathing has more room in it. Around here, the danger isn't a craving. It's confidence. Your brain, feeling better, starts to whisper something new. You've got this handled now. You're strong now. One wouldn't even matter now. I want you to recognize that voice the instant it speaks, because it is the single most dangerous sentence in the entire 2 weeks. That isn't strength talking. It's the last clever move of an addiction that's almost dead, trying to get one foot back in the door. One wouldn't be a victory lap. One would be hour 1, all over again. You don't need it. You were never deprived of it? Walk on. Days 11 to 14. You're in the home stretch, and the change here is the deepest one. Your dopamine system has largely normalized, which means the ordinary world is registering at full color again. Food tastes like food. A good morning feels good on its own, with nothing added. The natural rewards that went flat at the very beginning are landing properly for the first time in a long time because your floor is back where it belongs. You're not someone enduring an absence anymore. There's nothing missing. You're just here. Hour 336. The sprint is complete. Your brain's receptor balance has returned to that of someone who doesn't use nicotine, because that is now what you are. The physical addiction is broken. The schedule has run all the way out, exactly as it was always going to. From the moment you took that last conscious hit and let the clock start. 14 days, 336 hours. Every one of them accounted for, and every craving you felt along the way wasn't damage. It was the readout of an addiction dying on time. Now let's talk about the craving itself. The actual moment, because somewhere in these 14 days, one is going to come for you. And I'd rather you meet it with a plan than with panic. Here's the first thing, and it's the whole game. You already know what a craving is now. It's not a need. It's not your body in danger. It's the little nicotine deficiency we talked about, sending up a flare. And it is temporary by design. It rises, it peaks, and within a few minutes it falls on its own, with no action from you. You have never in your life had a craving that didn't end. Not one. Your record against cravings is perfect. Every single one you've ever had, you survived. You just usually surrendered to it right before it was going to leave anyway. So when the next one comes, you don't have to fight it. Fighting it makes it bigger. Struggle feeds it. You just have to let it be there and not act for a surprisingly short window. Try this. When a craving hits, don't tell yourself, never again. That's a cliff, and the mind panics at cliffs. Just tell yourself, not for the next 90 seconds. 90 seconds. You can do anything for 90 seconds. Set the craving down on the table next to you. Look at it like the passing chemical event it is, and let the 90 seconds run. Almost every time before they're up, the wave has already started to break. And give your body something to do while it passes, because a craving is partly physical, and it likes to discharge through the body. Breathe, slowly, deliberately, in for 4 counts. Hold for 7. Out, long and slow, for 8. Do that twice, and you've spent 30 of your 90 seconds, and you physically pulled your nervous system down out of alarm. Or get up and walk to another room. Or drink a full glass of cold water, slowly. Or grip the edge of a table and push for 15 seconds, hard, until the tension has somewhere to go. None of these are magic. They're just true. They give the wave a path out, while time does the actual work. There are 2 kinds of craving, and it helps to know which one you're meeting. Early on, the first few days, they're chemical. The body wanting the drug. Those fade as the schedule runs out. But later, the ones that remain aren't chemical at all. They're triggers. A craving bolted onto a moment. The first coffee, the car, the end of a meal, the phone in your hand. Stress, the drink with friends. These aren't your body needing nicotine. These are a sign your body's done with nicotine. These are just memories with a hook in them. Situations you simply haven't practiced being in without the vape yet. And a memory can't make you do anything. The first time you go through the trigger moment without reaching for it, the hook loosens. The second time, looser. After a handful of times, the coffee is just coffee again. You're not white-knuckling past these forever. You're unlinking them one by one, and each one only has to be unlinked once. So here's your whole craving toolkit, and it fits in a breath. It's temporary. Don't act for 90 seconds. Breathe 4, 7, 8. It will pass. It always passes. And on the far side of it, you're one craving closer to free. That's it. That's the hardest skill in the entire 2 weeks, and you already have it. I want to take you past the finish line for a minute. Past hour 336. Because the schedule ends, but you keep going, and you should know what's waiting. There's a sentence that's going to do more for you than any breathing exercise, and I want you to start saying it before you even need it. It's not "I'm trying to quit." It's not "I'm taking a break from vaping." It's not "I'm 3 weeks clean." Those are all sentences spoken by someone still standing next to the trap, still half defined by it. The sentence is, "I don't use nicotine." That's it. Flat, simple, settled. Not a struggle, not a streak you're protecting, not a thing you're missing. Just a fact about who you are. The same way you'd say, "I don't drink coffee," or "I don't watch much TV." No drama in it, no war in it. When someone offers, you don't agonize and resist and feel deprived. You just say, "No thanks, I don't do that." The way a non-swimmer declines to dive in, it isn't willpower. It's identity. And identity is the thing that holds when willpower is tired. This is the real destination. Not a smoker heroically holding their breath, day after day, forever. That person is exhausted, and eventually that person slips. No. The destination is quieter and far more permanent than that. You stop being a vapor who isn't vaping. You become a person who simply doesn't, to whom the whole thing has become slightly foreign, a little hard to remember the appeal of. People who quit and stay quit almost all describe the same strange moment, weeks or months on. Catching the smell of it, or watching someone else reach for it, and feeling not longing, but a faint, genuine relief that it isn't theirs to carry anymore. That's coming for you. Not because you'll fight your way to it, because the chemistry pulls you there and your own words seal it. And think about what you actually get back. Not money. I told you I wouldn't do that. And I won't. Something better. You get back your attention. All those small hours of your day you spent thinking about it, planning around it, checking for it, stepping outside for it. You get back your breath. You get back taste and smell properly. You get back the simple, enormous freedom of not being led around by a small object in your pocket, of going a whole day without that object having a single vote in how you feel. You stop outsourcing your calm to a machine. You get to find out what your real baseline feels like, fully grown back, with nothing faking it. That's not deprivation. Read it back. There is not one loss on that list. It's the longest list of gains you'll collect in any 2 weeks of your life. And the only thing it costs you is a habit that was never doing anything for you in the first place. So here's where we are. You came in afraid of suffering, and I told you there's no suffering to fear. Only a discomfort the vape invented so it could keep selling you the cure. You came in thinking you'd need willpower, and I showed you that you don't fight for something you no longer want. You came in believing quitting was a loss, and you've watched hour by hour how it's nothing but a body healing back to where it always belonged. The clock is the same one it's always been. 336 hours. The only thing that's changed is that now you know what's inside each one. The craving isn't a threat anymore. It's a progress report. The hard stretch isn't a wall anymore. It's the steepest, most worthwhile part of the climb, with an exact end. And the person on the far side of it isn't a deprived version of you, holding their breath. It's just you, free, with nothing missing. And here's the quiet truth. You might have walked right past a few minutes ago. If you did what I asked back there, if you set it down, then your clock is already running. You're not deciding whether to start. You already started. You're in it. Hour 1 is already behind you. So there's nothing left to brace for, nothing to schedule for Monday. The only thing in front of you now is the next hour. And you already know exactly what it holds. If you want something to walk those hours with you, to show you exactly where you are on the schedule in real time as it happens, there's an app called 336. It tracks every one of these 336 hours, hour by hour, free on iPhone and Android. But you don't need it to begin. You already have everything you need to begin. You've had it the whole time.